Hello, welcome to the last vlog of March. This is the vlog for the March of the Moderns readathon. For this readathon, I'm reading Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile. I started it today. There are a lot of characters and I'm trying to remember who's who. But now it's 5 p.m. I need to get ready. I'm going to a museum today for an exhibition of something. I was not paying attention, so I actually don't know, but you know, it's something to do. It's a reason to get out of the apartment and do something fun. Good morning. So today I thought I would try something different. I was thinking of what I could do for the March of the Moderns and what can I do to try out something from the time period. And I thought I would go with hair. There are a lot of things that happen in that time period. A lot of styles change and there was like pretty significant changes. So I had some options. And like the three big stereotypical styles that stand out to me are the Edwardian style, the flapper of the 20s, and the sort of, I don't even know how to call that style, the retro wartime style. And previously I have tried all three of them when I was in acting school. We had a whole semester that was dedicated to musical theater from the start of the 20th century to around 50s, 60s. And so I had to perform songs of a particular time period, and I did dress up in like 20s style. I didn't have a lot of resources in terms of costumes, so I just chose something from my wardrobe that could fit this, and I did my own hair. And then closer to the end of the semester we moved to 40s and 50s, so I got to try that as well. And as to the Edwardian style, I did try it because I remember one of my assignments was a song from the musical Parade, but at that time there were so many things happening and that song was just so hard. It was just, I did not take a picture and I didn't really care about hair at that time. The sort of vocal thing was very much on my mind. And so for this video I thought, what could I possibly do? And I knew that I did not want to curl my hair because it takes so long, especially if we're talking about the finger waves of the 20s. Honestly, I don't have time for that. I don't want to spend my free time on that. And as for the sort of later periods, those would require, if not curling irons, then hair rollers, which I don't have anymore. I used to have some lovely ones that I would use all the time for school and stuff, but I lost them in the move, so I don't have those and I would need to curl my hair again for that. So after looking at a lot of different options of what I could do, something that would not be too difficult, I decided to land on the Edwardian hair. The problem with Edwardian hair is that they used what I guess we would call now hair extensions and little pieces of, I think they're called hair rats, which I don't have time to unpack this. They would like stuff their hairstyles with to create volume and stuff, and I obviously don't have that. I, again, no time or energy to even try and recreate that. So that significantly shortened the list of things I could do. But I did find one hairstyle that seems easy enough to do. I'm gonna try it. So I did what the video recommended. I'm working with dirty hair. This is my third day hair and I have a lot of dry shampoo. This is like 20% hair, 80% dry shampoo, honestly. And hopefully this works.
I'm wild again, beguiled again, a simpering, whimpering child again, bewitched, bothered and bewildered am I. Lost my heart
have no idea what it looks like in the back, by the way.
Until he's bewitched, bothered and bewildered like me.
I mean, there's still hair sticking out in places, but I feel like this is pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't want to go out looking like this, but this is pretty doable. It's not too hard. I was really worried about this pompadour because I cannot tease my hair. I mean, I understand the concept, but I just could never do it with my own hair. So I was worried that this would require teasing, but it doesn't. There's no teasing. I have like nothing to wear that could possibly pass for an Edwardian dress or something. So I might Photoshop myself. Okay, fun part is over. Let me tell you about Agatha Christie while I take all the pins out. So last night I surpassed the halfway point. Yay! And I'm actually really enjoying it so far. Murder has happened already, and now we're in that fun stage of talking to everyone and hearing all the different stories and thinking of different theories. Really enjoying it. I'm so happy I finally decided to read it. In other plans today, I have a doctor's appointment, which I'm very nervous about, and then I'm teaching a class. It's a busy day, but I plan to read on my commute. So hopefully I'll read about 100 pages today. Hello, good morning. Today I'm at my parents' all day and I brought 3 books. First of all, I have to finish Death on the Nile, which I'm really enjoying. The only other Agatha Christie that I read was ABC Murders, and I didn't love that one. I had a lot of expectations. It was just a snooze fest. I didn't like it. But this one is so much better. I liked that there were a lot of characters, a lot of storylines and dramas and possible mysteries, and they're all like stuck on this one steamer. You can't leave, so you know something has to happen. And at first I was a little annoyed when I realized just how many characters there are on this boat. I even wrote like a little list for myself. 16 people. Oops, oh no. And then I was getting annoyed because I was thinking that, you know, I can't keep track of all of these people. I can't at all, like at any time, remember all of them and remember all of like the little information that we find out about them. And I'm finding out that that's the point. And it makes it hard for you as a reader to find out who the murderer is. And it also means that with all of these people, 16 people, everyone has their own agenda, everyone has their own like secret or something. So it's just so fun because there's so many things and it's so complex, and it seems very linear at first, but then oh, there's also this, oh, there's also this, and is it connected, and who is it? And when you're focused on like one storyline and you're like, oh, I know, something else happens from like the other side, from the side you were not even thinking of. And I really like it. And at this point, Poirot just realized who the killer is, but he has not told us yet. I'm reading this as a buddy read with Katja. I'm gonna leave her channel in the description. Check it out, she's awesome. And last night we chatted about, you know, where we are at in the story, things that we liked, things that annoyed us. We did like swap theories and stuff. And like, yes, I'm really enjoying this book. I like the pace, I like all the mysteries and how it's moving, but like there are a lot of things that are also like wrong with it. There are a lot of very problematic things, but the mystery I like, and I can't wait to finish it today. Good evening. It's Friday night now, and earlier today we had like a slight medical emergency in the family, and we spent a bunch of hours at the clinic getting tests and stuff. It's all good now. Not like all good, but good. Earlier today, I finished Death on the Nile and I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I loved the mystery side of it. I loved how the investigation went. It's definitely very well crafted. It's a great mystery and I highly recommend it. But it is very problematic. There's so many things. Anyway, I'm glad I read this. So after that, I picked up Ikigai, this Japanese secret to a long and happy life. This book was gifted to me. It was sent to me by Tara North, who I adore. She's such a great friend, and check out her channel, check out her podcast. She has an awesome podcast about dark romance where she talks to different authors and other lovers of dark romance. I mean, I don't read dark romance. I'm not interested in it. I know that I cannot handle it, but I still listen to the podcast because it's so interesting. I will link the podcast down as well. I am really enjoying this. I am like over halfway down at this point. It talks specifically about a place in Japan called Okinawa, and it's famous because its inhabitants are the longest living people on Earth. And it looks at how they do it, you know, what do their lives look like, what are their traditions, what is their diet, how do they move. It talks about how important it is to have a sense of community and to help each other and to move and to always have some kind of action happening. And Ikigai is kind of like raison d'être, the reason you wake up in the morning. And it's very lovely. Personally, I love the kind of nonfiction when it comes to like self-help nonfiction that gives you a lot of science, a lot of research when it goes into like the heart of things. And this book doesn't do that. This is more like an inspirational book. It does touch upon a lot of the things that I have previously read in other self-help books that do go into like more of the science and more into detail on all of those like habits and diet and stuff like that. For me personally, this is more like a reminder of all of those different things that I've read in other places that I might have forgotten, that, you know, I once said, you know, I definitely should try doing this and I never did. This is like packaging those things together. Honestly, exactly what I needed. Felt in need of some kind of inspiration. I think the long winter has not helped me mentally at all. And now that it's finally warmer, and they say the snow will finally melt next week. I'm really waiting for that. There's more sun. I'm very embracing this book, giving me all of that inspiration for all of these habits and envisioning my life following some of these principles and how incredible it must feel to do all those things. Definitely something that I really needed right now. And thank you so much, Tara, for recommending this book and sending it to me. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'm actually planning to finish it today, and after I'm done with Ikigai, I'm going to start on The Picture of Dorian Gray. Every time I mention it, I get so many messages and comments saying that it's incredible and I definitely should read it. So finally, it's going to happen. Tonight, can you tell? Look how pretty. Hello, good evening. It's now Tuesday evening. I've been very busy and doing lots of stuff. I have been reading The Picture of Dorian Gray and I have thoughts. I've now surpassed the halfway point. I remember when I was younger reading classics like Jane Austen or Dickens, or even in movies too. I just sort of saw everyone as like adult. Now that I'm in my late 20s, when someone mentions the age of a character, I have like a better understanding of where they are in life. In Picture of Dorian Gray, we have 3 major characters. We have Dorian Gray, a young, innocent, beautiful young men. And we have two other men who are also described as young men. They are a little older than Dorian, the painter, Basil, and Lord Henry. Dorian is younger than them, and he in the beginning is set to be like 1 year shy of his coming of age, which I believe in the 19th century was 21 years old. So he's like 20. So Lord Henry and Basil, the way that I envision them, because they're called young men, they are like, I want to say 23, 25, still very young. There are a lot of talks and dialogues about morals and philosophy. I just know that if I was reading this when I was younger, I would definitely still read, for example, Lord Henry as someone in their 30s because of the way he speaks, the way he definitely holds himself with authority, the way especially he talks to Dorian, almost like a mentor. But now I read this and like their talks and how he teaches Dorian life, the new ideas of, you know, what life is about and what women are like and what you should do, what you shouldn't do. It just reads very much like a very privileged, very self-assured, very cocky, very like definitely an asshole who is very young himself teaching someone who's a little younger than them how to live their life. You know, it's just so silly. And I think it's even more tragic, the idea that Dorian would believe so much into these ideas, and that his whole life will be upturned because of these musings of a stupid young man who doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm reading the book with my eyes, but I also have an audiobook and it's helping me out a lot. Like, I could not get into this book, not because it was not interesting, but just going into a classic after reading a bunch of contemporary, the like change of pace always throws me off a little. And the other thing I wanted to say, I didn't expect how, I don't even know how to explain this, like erotic the writing is. Because the way Dorian is described is very, I want to keep saying the word erotic. Oh, I can say sensual. I didn't expect that. But it is fun to read and it has interesting thoughts on beauty and pleasure and sin and corruption. And what is most fun, I think, is that it has all of these big ideas about how one is to live their life. Should we live in pleasure or should we limit ourselves? What does that do to our soul? And it sort of goes from one extreme to the other. You get people who argue when they are at these pretty extreme points, and the whole time I'm just like, well, if you take a little bit of what this person is saying and a little bit of what this person is saying, it creates a great balance that you can actually use and live your life with. But it always like goes from one point to the other. And I think what it does for me is it gives me an idea of how I feel and how I think on these matters, because I would read a paragraph and be like, well, I actually strongly agree with these 3 things, but I feel like I strongly disagree with everything else. So what does that mean for me? Do I, like, where do I stand? So that's been an interesting conversation happening in my head. Here is my beautiful copy and many notes taken. Actually, while I'm listening to the audiobook, I went back to sewing. I haven't touched this project in like a month or 2 months. Here's what I have so far. This is a bridge in Venice. And I'm currently doing this little part. So this will actually take me a long while to do, just based on how long this has taken me. It will be a long time. There's one more day left in March, but I think I will end this vlog here. I hope this was interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.